Hello viewers, how are you all? So here we have come again with a new video, and this time we shall discuss about some more figure of speech. So in our last video we read and tried to discuss about some figure of speeches like personification, alliteration, oxymoron and hyperbole. And in this video, we are also going to read about some more figure of speeches. So let's not waste time and we are good to go. So the first figure of speech that we are going to discuss about is similes. So what is similes? Obviously, similes is a figure of speech used to show comparison between two unlike things. When we write a sentence and there are two unlike things used in a sentence to show comparison between them, then we can call it as similes. Actually, the words we generally use to express similes are like and as. These are the two words that help us to write similes in our sentence. So here are some examples of similes. Number one, the great Khali is as strong as lion. Here, the great Khali is certainly not a lion. So, what is done in the sentence? There is a comparison done between great Khali and lion, and great Khali is said to have much more strength, just like a lion has. That is why here it is said the great Kali is as strong as lion. That means the strength of lion has been compared with the strength of great Kali. And as the word as used in this sentence, so we can say that this is the use of similes. Secondly, there is another example. MS Dhoni is as cool as cucumber. So in this sentence also we can see that MS Dhoni means Mahendra Singh Dhoni has been said very cool. We know that he is a cool captain, he is a cool cricketer, and in this sentence his coolness has been compared with the coolness of cucumber. That is why we can say that this is another example of similes. There are many similes that we use in our daily lives. Here are a list of some common similes that we use. They are like uh, as busy as bee, as strong as an ox, as tall as giraffe, as blind as bat, as cold as ice, etc. These all sentences are example of similes. Okay, so that is all about similes. Now let's go to our next figure of speech, that is metaphor. Metaphor is a very important figure of speech that we use in our language. So what is metaphor? Actually, metaphor is a figure of speech that is used to show comparison. Like we read in similes, it is also used to show comparison. Metaphor is also used to show comparison, and it is also the comparison between two things. But here the direct reference is used. That means it directly refers one thing as the other. But actually it is not a comparison. Means by literal meaning, by its common sense, we can understand that there is no comparison. Uh, Let us try to understand with some example. Like, my mother is an angel. We know that mothers play an important role in our life. So with love, we often tell them as my mother is an angel. We compare them with an angel. But is it true that my mother is actually an angel? No. It is just a comparison. and here no words like as or like are used. Here the reference is given in a direct manner. That is why we can say that this is an example of metaphor. Similarly, we have another example, and the example is Mr. Roy has a heart of gold. Is it real that Mr. Roy has a heart made of gold? No. Actually, here the heart of gold is said to his kindness. He is kind, and his kindness has been referred as the heart of gold. So here the comparison is done in a direct manner, but actually no comparison is done. So that's all about metaphor. Now let us move to our next figure of speech, and that is assonance. So what is assonance? In our last video we read about alliteration. I think most of you remember that. What is alliteration? Alliteration is a figure of speech where similar consonant sounds are used at the beginning of the sentence. Assonance is somehow similar to that, because assonance is a figure of speech used when same vowel sound is used in a series of words in a sentence. When there are more words in a sentence, either start with vowel sound or the vowel sound is present at anywhere in the words in the sentence. Let us try to understand by example. The first example is, how is your cow now? In this sentence, we can see that how, cow, and now, the three words are ending with vowel sound, that is O. How, cow, and now. So though the vowel sound is not at the beginning of the words, but still it is present somewhere in the words in the sentence. That is why it is an example of assonance. Similarly, another example of assonance is, I like my style. In this sentence also you can see I, like, my, style, all these are having similar kind of sound, and all of them are vowel sound. That is why this is another example of assonance. Um, so that is all about assonance. Now we will go to our next figure of speech, and that is paradox. So what is paradox? A paradox is a figure of speech which shows contradiction. Contradiction means oppositeness, and also it shows disagreement, but is actually true and gives true definition. That means paradox is a kind of sentence where it gives the contradictory meaning. If you look at the sentence, you will get a contradictory meaning and opposite meaning, but the sense of the sentence is true, is correct. For example, this is the beginning of his end. In this sentence, this is the beginning of his end. That means the starting of end is written together in the sentence. Beginning and end, they are contradictory words. They are not written side by side, so we cannot call them oxymoron. They are used in the sentence to give the meaning of the sentence in true way using contradictory words. That is why we can say that this is an example of paradox. Similarly, there is another example of paradox, and that is, the only rule I follow is to ignore all the rules. When we say that the only rule I follow is to ignore all the rules, that means you are saying that you follow the rule, but actually you are saying you do not follow the rule. Here it is shown that follow and do not follow, they are contradictory to each other. but gives a clear meaning of the sentence, clear definition of the sentence. So that is why we can say that this is an example of paradox. So that's it about paradox. And now we will read about pun. Pun is another figure of speech which is very important, and it is very interesting also. So what is pun? Remember, pun is a figure of speech and it is used when a word sounds same but gives different meaning. That means when you will read the word, you will have the meaning in your mind, but literally it can give you some different kind of meaning. Actually, it gives double meaning. Uh, for example, there's a famous sentence from Julius Caesar. Uh, the sentence is, I am a mender of bad soul. Here, a cobbler is saying to an official that I am a mender of bad soul. Actually, he wants to mean, being a cobbler, he is the doctor of shoes. He is the surgeon of shoes. He mends shoes. But he wants to mean the officer that he can mend the bad soul. Here soul means the spirit also. So he is saying that he is the doctor of soul, he is the doctor of souls. But by saying so, he means that he is the mender of spirit. If you are bad by nature, then I can mend you, I can repair you. That is what he wants to say. Similarly, another example of pun is, never write with a broken pencil because it is pointless. Now look at the word pointless in this sentence. How is the word pointless used? Pointless, is the pencil pointless, or is it that writing with a broken pencil is pointless, right? So here the pointless is used to actually show that it is pointless, it is not good to write with a broken pencil. But it is also told you that the pencil has no point, the pencil has no lead through what you can write. So that is the pun, the important figure of speech, pun. Now let us move to our next figure of speech, and that is litotes. Litotes is a figure of speech used when we use a negative sentence to express positive sense. That means the sentence that we use is negative by structure, but it gives an affirmative sense. Its sense is positive. Uh, Let us try to understand by some example, like, he is not starving. In this sentence, you can see that you can read the sentence as he is not starving. The sentence is actually giving the positive sense that the person is not hungry, the person is not starving. That means the person is satisfied, the person is contented. But here the way of writing the sentence is negative. That means though I am using negative sense, negative way to write the sentence, but it is giving a positive sense. That is why it is litotes. Another example of litotes is, Virat Kohli is not an ordinary player. That means obviously he is not an ordinary player. He is an extraordinary player. He is an excellent player. That is what we want to mean. But our way of writing, our way of expressing the sentence is negative. But our sense is positive. That is why this is another example of litotes. So I think the 6 figure of speeches we read today are clear to you. So that's all for today. We shall soon come back with some new contents. By the time, stay well. Thank you. Goodbye.